Hello everybody, it's Brian with you from the Game Common, and we're playing some more Planet Coaster. We are continuing our Westworld park. So today I wanted to do something a little different. I needed a quick break from the entrance that we'd been working on, and even though we finish it later in the episode, right now when I recorded this a couple days ago, I wanted something different. I wanted to use my creative juices a little bit differently, so we're right now building the River Rapids. It's a brand new ride that basically came out the day I recorded this, which was with Beta Patch 4. I'm currently playing on the live build, the actual release version of the game, but this is still the beta. But anyways, I kind of had an idea ever since they announced this. How awesome would it be to actually run the ride through the park like a river? And I'm not so concerned when I'm building this about making it an interesting ride. I'm more concerned about making it look like a river as much as possible. Now, sometimes the rides react differently to the terrains, sometimes positively, sometimes it just doesn't look as good, like there's ledges and edges around it that just don't look right, but I'm actually really happy with how this came out. The terrain kind of molded around it just perfectly, and we got it at just the right height, that it came out looking pretty dang good like a river. It's not the most interesting ride, and I really didn't build this to make it as an interesting ride. In fact, I think the ride is like 18 minutes long or something ridiculous like that, and so I'm not too concerned about the actual ride itself. I more just wanted to add a river in the game. And now I know there is the water tool, and I could make a river with that. The only problem with that is it's not so much a river because the water doesn't necessarily flow. Even the rough water doesn't really have this flowing aspect to it. And in addition to that, I think it's just kind of a cool idea to use the rides in the park to kind of make the park. So what we end up doing is we end up keeping the ride basically flat the whole way through, kind of like a river. And then all the lifts and everything like that, we hide behind cliffs and so on and so forth. Now, I don't know if we actually finished this ride this episode. I think we do, actually, because I was doing it and I was working on it earlier today, I think is when I actually finished this. And we actually go back and change it a little bit, because right now it basically goes through the whole park at one level, and I end up dropping it a little later because I want to create like this cavern slash this chasm that later when I build my train I can take it over the top. So you'll notice for the most part, it's all underwater, or sorry, all underground. And the lifts that you see right now, that's all going to be underground as well. And basically, I wanted to make this as natural looking as possible. And I think here to actually go ahead and test it, at some point actually, yeah, here we go. We actually do the whole test thing. And what's funny is this ride was so long that at some point I actually speeded up myself. Like I speed up time just because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. I mean, it's cool, it's fun and all. It had pretty decent ratings, but once again, it's like an 18-minute ride. So I kind of view this as like, hey, it's like a scenic trip through the park. If you want to, go see what the park looks like, well, here you go. And I think it'd just be kind of cool as we have like things like bridges and the train and stuff over the top of it. I think it would be really cool just to see like these people like riding these rides. Hopefully people will actually ride the ride. Most of it is underground, and ironically, and I'm not quite sure why, like right now we're on a lift, I think, but you'll notice that like the excitement rating for whatever reason is highest on the lift, which doesn't make sense because even when like there's nothing at the end of the lift, that still constitutes like the most exciting part of the ride. And you see right there, I'm kind of looking at it going like, well, that's a little weird. So then we end up deciding to try getting rid of that green color, match it a little closer to the terrain. I don't do anything with the entrance. I still haven't done anything quite with it. At some point, there's going to be something over there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a miner's town over there. I kind of had this idea, and you'll kind of see here in a little bit with the different, when I end up finishing the train, all the different areas. And at some point, I should probably just do a live recording and kind of explain some of my ideas, because I have some really good ideas now. Well, I always had some really good ideas, but they're starting to take shape, so I'm really excited for this. The one thing that I'm trying to do here is I'm really trying to make the chasm look as good as possible, and we end up playing a lot in this episode with the train, and I end up using everything, using the chiseling, using the lifting, using the downing, using the smoothing, using the roughing, just kind of doing a little bit of everything, and then also quite a bit of the coloring as well, just to kind of make it look right. Right now, it doesn't look particularly good, mostly because it's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It starts looking a little bit better, and I think it's going to look even better as we have terrain and scenery and so on and so forth around it. At some point in the bottom of this chasm, I want to put, I think maybe bushes or something. I'm going to put something down there to actually make it look good. I hadn't quite figured out what I'm going to do down there yet. Here in a little bit, I end up coloring it grass color, but it just doesn't quite look right. One of the previous, or the last episode of Westworld, at least from today when I'm recording, there actually is a chasm that has a river running through it, and so I was kind of going with that, but in that particular chasm, they actually had a bunch of grass right around the river, but it just didn't look right, so we ended up switching it back. Here, I can't actually make this stupid ride connect, and then finally, I don't know what happened, it just let me connect it, and I'm like, okay. So yay, we also once again just kind of hide the dip or the dive in the ride underneath the rocks, just once again just to kind of hide it as best as we can. And you see we did the green down there, and it just doesn't look quite right. And I decided not to do any of the terrain on that left side, and instead we kind of stick just to the right for now. And here I find the rocks, and I'm like, oh yeah, we should put a bunch of rocks around the entrance just to make it look a little more realistic. At some point we should probably add a lot more rocks as well on the bottom, and we'll get to that. I'm not too concerned about this particular this chasm right now, because that's not really where I'm working. The next thing that I'm working on in the next episode is we're actually working on the western town finally, and that's going to be kind of our objective for now. At some point we will work on the chasm. It may be one of the last things I do to actually fill that up. I hadn't quite decided, the exact order of everything, but we'll get there eventually, I guess is my point. What's interesting is, so they increased the size of the park, and we're actually on the live version of the build right now. The first half of that video was actually in the beta 4, but this is all stuff I did earlier today, and so this is all with the live version that came out yesterday, I think it was. But anyways, the interesting thing about them increasing the size of the park is that just means we have that much more ground to like cover and put things in and make it look good. So it's going to be a lot of work to actually finish this park, probably a lot more than it would have been without, the increased size. Now, one thing you'll notice is I'm actually coloring all these rocks like 2 different colors. So I come in with the rock color, and then I kind of use the last one. I don't know what it is. It's like mostly dirt, and a little bit of rock, just to kind of fill it in a little bit, just so you kind of have this two-tone going throughout the whole thing. And now here I eventually decided, all right, we should probably finish the stupid entrance. So we're coming in here, and I actually really like how this came out. We end up finishing this off completely, and I think it looks pretty freaking legit. The only downside to it thus far is, well, it's a little dark on the inside, especially once I bring up the cliff and it gets completely covered. We put a bunch of lights in there, and, it looks really cool, but it's a little on the dark side. If this was a real park, I don't know we would actually want it that dark inside, but whatever. And then once again, we're just trying to add a little bit of interest, because plain white walls, as futuristic as they look, they're kind of boring, so I kind of like these lights there, or whatever those things are, those glass panels, and I also like the thing below it, and I really like how that comes out. And we end up copying and pasting this a couple times, and we use it pretty much throughout this whole entrance area just because it looks good. Now above the desk area and stuff like that, once again, I just kind of left it off. And then we ended up finding these consoles again, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe our scanner should have some consoles. And then I end up blocking it off here with this yellow tape. And this was actually a lot harder work than it kind of seems. And you may see it, but if you look really closely, you notice that it starts like glitching when you like put the tape over the top of another piece. And like, see there, it's just kind of like glitching and freaking out. And it looks really weird. So I end up not being able to like get it exactly perfect. So it's close enough, but man, that's kind of weird, to be honest with you guys. And then here we drop these signs down, and they look really good. I really, really like it. And then the little arrow signs to point people like, hey, this way's the exit, this way's the entrance. And here we're just trying to fill the doorways, just so that it's just not like a plain doorway, just a little bit of interest once again to the walls and stuff, so it's just not plain. And that's really what I'm just kind of going through here, just trying to find, okay, what looks good, that looks good, this looks good. I hadn't really much used the sci-fi theme. Now I feel a lot more comfortable in it, and by the end of this episode I kind of know, okay, this would be good here, this would be good there, this would be good good there. It's kind of like our last, the one we did during the alpha, the Santa Monica Pier park. Like when I first started, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but by the end of it, it was like, okay, I need that piece, I need that piece, I need that piece. It all comes down to just being familiar with the game, being familiar with the controls, and that's the other thing is I'm actually getting really good with the controls now, which is exciting. There's a lot of controls to memorize, and it's like the more controls you have memorized, the easier it is, kind of thing. So at this point, I realized, oh hey, let's get some lights going on the signs, and we don't add a lot of lights in, I don't think, at this point. We're just kind of adding just a little bit of lights, just to, hey, here's an interesting part of the park. And did we really? Oh, that's what we did. We crossed those lights. I gotcha. And then we put these over here by the entrance, just to kind of get a little bit on the entrance. And I'm hiding all these lights underground because I just don't really want those to be able to be seen, because they don't really fit with the futuristic theme. This area, we end up doing those desks that we did on the other side. Just once again, I imagine they're workstations or ticket booths or something like that, and I really like how they came out. Once again, you know, that's what this game, like what's so wonderful about this game is you can just take a bunch of random things and make some really good looking stuff really easily, and I love that. We end up deciding to duplicate that, and the irony is we end up deleting this whole thing by the end anyways, just because I have a different way to go through this. I'm wondering, yeah, we raised the mountain in this episode, don't we? I think we do. I think we actually raised the mountain and go underground for all this. I wanted to put that desk here, but it's a little bit on the small side, so oh well. Anyways, this is the second episode. I apologize, it's taken a little bit of time for me to get these out. I kind of wanted these out a lot quicker, but man, life's been busy. Life's going to get busier too next week. Next week's Thanksgiving, I don't know, at least here in America. And man, I have a lot planned next week. So basically the only day I'm going to have to record next week is going to be Thanksgiving, so I might be able to play some Planet Coaster. The one thing I enjoy about Planet Coaster is I can totally play it when I'm like super tired, where normally I have to kind of have some energy to record, you know, like now, even though it's a little later at night, I still, like, my energy's high enough that I can be like, hey guys, what's up? Normally, like, my normal voice is like this kind of monotone voice, and you know, it'd be kind of boring to listen to all the time, so that's why I kind of like try having a little more energy when I'm talking to you guys, just so it's a little interesting to listen to. But anyways, all that being said, I'm going to be really busy next week. Hopefully I can get a few more of these episodes recorded today and tomorrow, and then probably Sunday. Simply so we'll have a couple episodes next week. Civilization, I think I have all my backlog done there, so we're going to be pretty good there next week, so there shouldn't be any drop in that. But anyways, I was going to say, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you guys are, man, definitely let me know. All the comments so far have been great. You know, if there's anything you want to see, let me know. I'm going to try fitting everything in that it has a Western theme and maybe a futuristic theme, but it's got to kind of fit the Westworld theme. If not, I'm going to try fitting it into a future park. I still have every plan in the world of doing a Star Wars park next, but oh man, if this park, like, I'm already finding, man, this park is a little bit more grandiose than I thought. My Star Wars park is going to be ridiculous. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Some of the things I want to do, I already know that, man, it's going to take me like 10 hours just to do like this one roller coaster I want to do through that park. But anyways, so yeah, drop a like, comment, let me know what you guys think, and hit that subscribe button as well. Definitely show your support. It does wonders for my channel. But yeah, we're just doing the final touches here. I end up dropping the roof over there and decide, oh wait, I should probably put the roof here, or I should duplicate it, put the roof there, and then go there. And now here I'm kind of flying through it a little bit quick. I don't know if I do a walkthrough at the end. If I don't do a walkthrough at the end, then I may have to go like record one really quick and attach it at the end of this recording here in Premiere. There we're just trying to center those lights up inside those individual rooms, and I don't think I actually spend the time putting all the lights in there. Oh yeah, you see the little ticket booths there, those look so good. I don't really like, I don't know, the fonts in this game, I'm not a huge fan of, even though Orbitron is one of the main fonts, and I actually use that a lot in my design work, just because I love that font. But anyways, I just don't know if I really like how the signs look. The ticket ones came out good, the welcome ones kind of I may change that eventually. If you have an idea for it, let me know. You can see here with the train kind of how we end up doing things, where how the train's kind of coming out of the mountain, and in fact the mountain's a little bit more grandiose here. Actually, do we do the whole mountain here? maybe we do the whole mountain here. Huh, that's awesome. This episode's even more than I thought it did. Oh, no, we popped back inside. It's kind of interesting because I recorded a lot today and I'm like, wait, what exactly did I do today? What didn't I do today? I ended up seeing that, like, what was that? It was like a airlock thing, and I think it would look really cool for the train to go through, and I may end up like lining the tunnel with that at some point. Oh yeah, here we go, going through the lights, and this is so hard to do with the freaking like roof because I keep like hitting the roof and and I'm not using, you can see I'm using the second light there, the box light. I didn't use the LED par cans just because those seemed a little bit too bright, or at least a little too harsh, so this was more of a soft light, so that's why I kind of went with it. In the grand entrance, these didn't really light it up at all because they're a little too far away from the ground, so in the entrance we end up adding in one of the LEDs. Well, we actually add in a lot of LED parts just to kind of make that a little more interesting. Once again, trying to light up the shops, and we end up going back and adding a few more par cans in there just to kind of like light up the shops and stuff like that. Oh, actually, maybe we do that right now. Yeah, the only thing with those par cans though is they're never at an exact angle, so they're slightly tilted up if you put them on the ground, which means when you rotate them 45 degrees, they're not pointed like straight down or straight right or anything like that. They're a little tilted as well, so it's like always a bit of an issue trying to get them straight up and down. So I kind of just go around the outside and then come in with the middle with a little bit more and just kind of rotate them one at a time. And for the most part, I'm trying to keep them even on the, what is that, x-axis, so, and then just tilt them a little bit here and there as I need, just to light up more of the ground. So yeah, here we go through the nice walkthrough of the entire park. You got this nice little entrance there, and those lights around it look really, really cool. Also, the trees and everything outside look really nice as well. And there's a kind of our ticket booths now and our welcome booth and everything, and those look really, really cool. I like those signs there. I love the sign, the arrow sign. That's really, really cool. It's a little dark in here. I may add more lights. Same thing in here, it's just a hair dark, and I think I actually go back and add a little more light here in just a second. And man, the train going through the tunnel looks really cool, although I think I increased that tunnel in the next episode. But yeah, you'll notice here it's just like a hair on the dark side, so I come here in just a second and go add more lights. But man, the power of editing. We can do things at like normal speed and then speed it up to like 600% again. Yeah, what's up? So yeah, I add just a few more lights there just to make it a little bit brighter in this area. So that's about all I have for this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!